All right, boom. So the time has come. We got to get into it. Shedeur and my little pixelated video, fifth round, 144. First of all, congratulations. Guy got drafted, man. Long journey, interesting journey, for example, right? I think we're all considered. But this morning, as I woke up, I was hit with a very interesting uh commentary by somebody on social media. I wish I had the image to pull it up. And if I can find it, maybe I will. Uh, it came down to essentially the level of outrage in Shedeur not getting selected this morning at the time, at least going into the third round or the fourth round, whatever round it was. And it was, again, a lot of people in the black culture space, right? Black sports culture, black attention, entertainment culture space, right? Black media, social media. Um, and Chris and I, who again, we do the Z.S.P.N 3 Tech show, um, talk a whole lot of ball, a whole lot of football, and different things like that. Chris was saying this earlier in the year, and I had a lot of pushback for him because of my support for Deion in Colorado and seeing what was going on the field football wise and the people that they were bringing in, for example, right, to work with the program and work with the kids and different things like that. The Pat Shermers, the Warren Sapps of the world, and different stuff like that. But again, like he said, man, this is the problem. And this was back when, again, every time Colorado would do anything good, for example, first week of the season they beat uh North Dakota State, who was a good team at the FCS level, but they're not that, right? They not then Colorado beating them don't really say too much other than Deion is building the program. But again, Chris said, man, this is why people don't like Colorado, man. This is what it is. It's the fact that people that don't know nothing about football want to make all this outrage and build all these conversations and all this, conjecture and all this stuff about Colorado, and they don't even know what's going on. They talking all this stuff, they don't even know what's going on. And again, like the little jokes, they'll play Florida and get blown out by 50,000. You feel me? Oklahoma, they'll get destroyed, right? And Oklahoma down right now. USC the year before, running, beating the brakes off of them. So you look and you say, okay, is there fair and valid outrage, right, about Shedeur not getting drafted? I agree. I think so. I think I continue to say it, whether it's in the comments or even I just say it to people around me. I think it is crazy when you look at it and you say, uh, a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, let's go to Johnny Manziel. My thing is Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow, and Zach Wilson all got drafted before Shedeur. That's crazy to me. I don't really see how it's logical, especially based on us simply just talking about the quarterback position, right? Maybe we're not gonna get into a whole bunch about behavior and attitude and all of these different things like that. But again, at the end of the day, if you could tear down Tim Tebow and say Tim Tebow wasn't gonna be basically playing quarterback and he just switch another position, I can't really see how you would push him up high to say that again he was worth some high level of a draft pick in the second round, if I'm not mistaken, where Tim Tebow was drafted, right? First round, excuse me. First round pick 25. Zach Wilson, first round, second pick overall. Manziel, first round, 22nd pick overall. And Manziel comes into the draft with so many behavior issues, right? So many behavior issues, whereas the physical upside that you may say may be there, it ain't even valid to turn around, pick him in the first round at 22 with everything considered and how it went down. He was exactly who they said he was if y'all saying that Shedeur got issues. Zach Wilson again. He's a backup now. Tim Tebow didn't even make it to be a backup realistically. He was a utility dude. So again, you got 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions was his seasons this past year. Johnny Manziel went 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions his freshman year, won the Heisman, and beat Alabama, throwing the ball up to Mike Evans, closing his eyes every play. But we're not gonna talk about it. Shout out to Johnny Manziel because he's a real one, legend. 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 69 completion percentage, 68 completion percentage the first 2 years. Shedeur went 69.3, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 74 completion percentage, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Eighth in the Heisman list. Career 71 completion percentage. Manziel 68 completion percentage. Again, playing with Cliff Kingsbury. So again, where's the reason for the slide? So to expound on this a little bit more, again, Shedeur got drafted today, 144. Um, and the Cleveland Browns selected him. So let's just start there, right? One of my biggest things is a lot of the conjecture in the conversation that was kind of confusing to me about this is the fact that, again, like, as you go through this slideshow, there were a lot of conversations about his blackness, him being a black quarterback, his leadership. I look at the last two guys in these last two slides, for example, Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady. Jalen Hurts was taken, let's see, what selection was he in the draft? So Jalen Hurts was taken in the second round, 53rd pick, played in the national championship, if I'm not mistaken, won the national championship, was the 2016 Offensive Player of the Year in the SEC. Um, I think at the time, I thought Jalen Hurts should have been a first round draft pick. I think he earned it. Him going to Oklahoma and playing at Oklahoma after having played at Alabama, going to the playoffs in both schools, I think that's a big determining factor for quarterbacks in the NFL, right? On how good the quarterback is actually going to be. Don't show me a quarterback who actually hadn't done nothing. Give me a quarterback who's actually led his team somewhere. In the fact that there's an actual format in college football now for you to be able to do that, right? Next, the GOAT, Tom Brady. Tom Brady was an interesting one for me because, again, I felt like if you understand football within the outrage, are we saying that Shedeur is better than Tom Brady and Kurt Warner? Drew Brees, if I'm not mistaken, was a second round pick as well, right? So again, right, Shedeur ain't better than them yet. Even if in college and all the modern day, Colorado got their feet whooped last year, so let's not start there, right? So again, at the end of the day, if you go look at Tom Brady's story and you really know what he was doing in college, again, he took his team somewhere. They went to the Rose Bowl with Tom at the helm, though. Tom was leading things, even if he's coming in off the bench, very similarly to Jalen Hurts, right? So again, at the end of the day, I think it's a lot being made of how big of a deal that it is. Excuse me, that Shedeur wasn't drafted, but I don't think realistically people are being real about it. Tom Brady, for example, had to go through a lot in order to get drafted, and the path that they put him on in order to succeed was the most important thing. I don't think Shedeur ended up in the best situation for him to succeed. I don't. It's gonna be up for him to do that because, again, right, you got Dylan Gabriel, who we went to the beginning of the slides and we saw that, right? Dylan Gabriel got drafted by the Cleveland Browns yesterday. So they already have one quarterback who they kind of are going to favor a little bit more. So now you got the quarterback competition. Now you got Deshaun Watson in the locker room as well. So now Shedeur is the one that's responsible for being the most down the middle guy. While we hoping that Dylan Gabriel is going to be that, and we just really waiting for Shedeur to trip out. What's the first sign where he starts succeeding and we start to see that? Because again, right, this was to humble that risk to come down. Fifth round, sixth round, 144. I don't think that's the quarterback that we just watched play. But again, right, you got to balance that too, right? You got to balance that man right there, right? The fact that he in the air, he know what to say, right? Now it's a little doubt. You got to create that back of the head, that over the shoulder doubt as well. And this man is leading him to do what he do, right? At the end of the day, right? Don't listen to your dad. Your dad wasn't in. He was in the way of you getting drafted. We might have could have drafted you a little bit higher if it wasn't for. So again, right? It's a lot of different things in here. I think Shedeur showed all of the things that he needed to do in order to be drafted as a first round pick quarterback. But again, within our culture and sports, black culture and in sports culture, though, we got to stop acting like he the only black quarterback out here with confidence. It is a little crazy in your team losing and all of these different things like that, and you a little more focused on how much you got it. Okay, you got it, but y'all don't got wins. Period. That was a big deal to me, honestly, when I looked at it. Like, he's not the only quarterback that's black in the league. He's not the only quarterback that's black in the league with confidence. So let's not make it about that. Can't make it about that. Now, again, is the comparisons, for example, to somebody like this next person that I'm actually gonna bring up very, very valid? Yes. And again, he's not even depicted in these pictures. But again, a guy like Baker Mayfield, right? When you look at all of the different quarterbacks and stuff like that, and what's going on with Shedeur, for example, Zach Wilson. The story was out and was known that Zach Wilson had been known to have fucked one of his classmates or teammates' mom. It was out there. It was a big deal. It was a reason why they loved his moxie. Shedeur got jewelry and he rich. Zach Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, his family is like JetBlue or something. He's part of the JetBlue family. Somebody in his family is from that lineage, right? So he got the bread. Wasn't a problem. Now, in that regard, it is a problem when it's a young black man, right? Because again, Deion's story goes with, like I talked to my pops about, right? That East Coast blood. His daddy told the Giants, I ain't gonna be there for y'all, and told the whole entire sports world that story for the last 30 years plus. And his son thought that team was gonna draft him? Shit, you're crazy. But again, we gonna fall into that craziness because sometimes we getting caught up in the story and the journey, and we not really getting caught up into what's going on. The Giants was never gonna draft Shedeur. Switching up to get Jackson Dart, who they are convinced now is the white Jalen Hurts, based on what? Crazy. But again, we gonna push that narrative though. It's a lot of young black quarterbacks with confidence who have been through this journey though, but look at where it leads you, right? I should have put the picture of Lamar laying on the table at the draft. I'm a Dylan Gabriel fan. I wanted Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur to play for the Rams. But again, unfortunately, that's not what we own. The Rams doing their thing. Go ahead. That's fine. But again, like, don't let it be lost on you that it could lead you there. I was hoping Shedeur would end up in a little bit of a better spot. But again, that's perfectly fine. This is tough to deal with. It's tough to embrace because, again, I'll go back to this too. And I was saying that I think it's tough with Deion because this is also a dually humbling experience for him as well. This impacts his business. He just had the Heisman Trophy winner and the number 2 overall draft pick, the Heisman Trophy winner, number 2 overall draft pick that he was able to get to choose to not go to Florida State, his alma mater. They decided not to hire him as a coach. Then his son goes there. Then Jimmy Horn Jr. goes there, right? Xavier Weaver and LeJounte Webster and all these guys that they get transferring in from all of these other places and the commits that they get and stuff like that. So again, right, you don't need a Deion Sanders pipeline coached by NFL coaches, learning the way that coaches like Nick Saban did it and handled their business. You don't want Deion Sanders building that, not the black version, because there are no black coaches in college football that do nothing. They talk about it all the time. There are no black relevant college coaches. Zero. Until this one popped up. But it was a problem when he was at Jackson State. And it was a problem when he left. Then he got to Colorado and he said what he was going to do. And it's a problem now that he's successful. So again, understand that this is not about Shedeur, honestly. Him going in the 6th round, which again, like I said, I'm hoping that I still got the picture in here. There should be a picture of Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, that's how I really feel about it. There should have been a picture of Dylan Gabriel in here at the Senior Bowl, which I think I missed out on it. But again, that was one of my biggest things with this whole shit. Is that at the end of the day, Dylan Gabriel went to the Senior Bowl. Shedeur didn't. That hurt Shedeur. Bigly, as Donald to say. Him not going, it hurt him. It did. It didn't benefit him to turn around and not go and participate at the Senior Bowl at all. Because at the end of the day, now, when you have people that want to see a little bit more about you and want to learn a little bit more about you in the process and shit like that, they can't. Because again, they look at it as, like so many other players, nah, it's a trend going right now. We just seen it with Nico Iamaleava, excuse me, I hope I said his name correctly, right? He leaving Tennessee because he want more money. They done cracked this man helmet in the college football playoff game. He want more money for his worth based on that. They like, nah, we got to set an example, nigga, get out. But just now, or just a few months ago at UNLV, the white guy, Matthew Sluka, quit on his team in the middle of the season. But black and brown kids is what's wrong with the game when they trying to get their money and they trying to, handle some business. So then again, within that, right, you got Cam Ward. This journey. Shedeur got a version of this. Shedeur should say, 3-star, originally Florida International or wherever. Boom. Now again, right, even in that part of the journey too, Shedeur could have kind of low-key followed Nick's Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was at Florida International or Florida Atlantic or wherever he was and had Shedeur on his recruiting list, and Deion then jumped into college to keep going with Shedeur. That did hurt Shedeur. It hurt Shedeur that only one person coached him in that headset the whole entire time. I recently said this. It hurt Shedeur when Deion in the documentary, as much as Deion be preaching, said, yeah, when I was in the hospital, I watched Shedeur's QB passer rating drop and his completion percentage drop every game I wasn't with him while I was in the hospital. So I had to come from out of the hospital while I'm going through life-saving surgery to come out here and be with my son. That don't necessarily look good. So why they selling it? Oh yeah, he had this incredible overcoming journey of triumph. He done went from a 0 star to Washington State to Miami. Shedeur got a little bit of that, but again, it hurts him the fact that he didn't participate in the full length of the process because they already ain't fucking with you anyway. They don't want to see no nigga that's coming into the situation feeling like a Manning, feeling like a man. No disrespect to Cam Ward, because again, he a man too. But again, coming in here not needing this, that's tough. So again, like him usurping the process or skipping the process, whatever is the best phrasing to use in that, it hurt him. All of them videos and all of them all that content we saw, right? Of um folks talking about yeah, I'm gonna go number one. 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 I'm gonna go. Man, boy, did they turn around and in a real way? In a real way. Where I had all this conversation about how I didn't necessarily believe if Cam Ward was going to have an opportunity to actually succeed in the best manner. What? That shit he was talking to Shedeur, talking about how he was going to have a better career? So, I think also within that, though, is other college football players that were great players who had to go through this same process, who had to experience some of these same lessons and L's or self-reflective questionings that they had to go through. And Jack Sawyer is one of the biggest ones. I watched Jack Sawyer crying start a whole damn brawl or be a part of a whole brawl between Michigan and Ohio State because of his passion for his school. And he took that passion and carried it into the national championship along with the rest of his teammates. But as one of the central leaders, and again, like, finished the game in the national championship with a forced fumble, like, to the crib and shit like that. Like really, really, like, made some shit shake for real. Wasn't just running around out there. Right? So it's like at the end of the day, I just think it's crazy that when it come down to it, like, even a dude like this dude had to sit there and he had to wait till the what, sixth round, fifth round to get drafted. And again, you see what school he at. It's crazy, man. I just feel like people putting a lot on it, but they gotta kind of make sure that they paying attention to the entirety of the conversation. Let's not overly deculture this. When again, this dude shouldn't have went in the fourth round, pick 123. Hell no. But again, that's the way that the ball bounces. You end up in a situation that you end up in, end up where you end up at. Period. So it'll be interesting to see for Shedeur because again, now I mean, you going into Cleveland again. That's my other thing too. Tom Brady was 199, sixth round, 199. So about 50 picks or so ahead of Shedeur, give or take 55 picks ahead of Shedeur or some shit like that. Excuse my math for being wrong as fuck, good as fuck. Who knows, right? So we can't sit here and be like, yeah, nah, man, Shedeur shouldn't have had to wait. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Shedeur has to wait 6 more rounds if he got to, nigga, because this nigga waited and you seen what that was. And again, what he was doing on the field ain't had nothing to do with because he was white or not. He was balling, period. Whooping feet of everybody. So again, like, it's a crazy conversation. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he says, and the conversation is, again, conversation is, I learned from Brady. I was with Brady. So again, right, they got their little bit of a relationship in whatever capacity, whether it's just training, mentoring, Shedeur here and there, or whatever it is. But again, right, you better use what it is you really say. You say you like a little mini Brady and shit like that, and you got that heart in you and all of that. Well, you got to go there, definitely. But again, what I will say too, now that I just thought about this, is it's crazy too, cause the Raiders passed on Shedeur hella too though. What Patrick Mahomes had to say before we get up out of here? And again, right, that you got Patrick Mahomes, even he like out here just giving like simple responses to the shit. Like we can all see it. We all done watch the dude play football, man. We all done see it. We all done seen it. So Shedeur again, like it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot of conjecture in that shit, and he got to get it figured out. It's tough. It's tough for all of those reasons because at the end of the day, you got to genuinely and authentically look at yourself in the process and figure out the things that went whatever way. And again, like he said, it's things trying to disturb you. Like he said, it's the devil. We know it's the devil. He was talking with his pop. It's a lot of things that's definitely there to try and knock you off your pivot and disturb you. But you know who you are as a player. Whatever opportunity that come with that, you take that. If you want to be in the NFL, you be in the NFL. You find your way. Period. It's gonna be a hard uphill battle. You've been humbled already. But again, right, you gotta rebuild and build with yourself and also understand it again. Imagine your brother, man. Your brother really gotta figure it out right now. He said that. Like they gonna do you like this. I know how they gonna do me. So again, it's a lot of things to keep it relative, right? Your brother Travis Hunter goes number 2, you go 6th round 144. Your brother's probably gonna go undrafted.